Hey there gang, Patrick King here, coming to you live from Meriden, Connecticut, teaching this weekend at KB Equine, right here in Meriden. Today's question is coming to us from Frank, and this is a question that Frank had asked me a while back, and I promised him that I'd make a video on a horseback video, so that he can see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. But figured I'd give a little answer here, kind of giving a little maybe theory, right? A little theory background into the video that is yet to come. I promise, Frank, I will still make that video, and I think everybody else is going to get a lot out of it as well. So the question from Frank today, he says, one of the problems that I have is that my mare locks her rib cage and doesn't relax. And as I circle her, it gets worse, and she tends to shove it to the inside of the circle. It's especially noticeable at the lope. Other than banging on the rib cage, the old adage that there are 32 ribs and only one mouth, do you have any exercises that I and others can use to get our horses to loosen their rib cage? So the big thing that we want to think about with this is, why is the horse bracing in their rib cage? Okay, and there's a ton of reasons why they could be bracing, particularly in the circles like Frank is talking about. And we're going to go through kind of the basic evaluative process there. We would look at, make sure that the feet are balanced, make sure that the teeth are balanced, make sure that, you know, the skeleton is aligned, all those basic things. We want to make sure that that's all good. Assuming that that is good, generally what I see as the problem with a horse getting stiff in their rib cage is that the rider is using leg more than seat. That's something that we work on quite a bit in our clinics, and we kind of really help the riders to key into and feel what it's like to ride the horse through the seat more than through the leg. And what we try to keep folks, what we try to have folks keep in mind, is that the seat initiates anything that we ask for. The leg motivates, and then the rein validates. All right, so what we want to think about with what Frank is talking about with the stiffness in the rib cage, one of the primary exercises that I would do for that is a leg yield. But again, oftentimes we have riders that are using way too much leg in their leg yield. We think about the seat initiating the movement. The seat initiates the leg yield. And so often we see riders whose horse is not going sideways, and so they're pushing with their leg. And the horse isn't going sideways, and so they're pushing more with their leg. And then the horse is just resisting, like Frank is talking about in his question. The horse is tensing in their abdomen, tensing in their rib cage. And then the rider uses more leg. And then the horse is resisting more, right? Because basically we're giving them something to resist against, okay? If the horse is not soft through the back and supple through the spine, when we ask for the leg yield in the first place, or when we ask for our circles in the first place, adding more leg is only going to create more tension. Again, we want to think the seat is initiating, okay? If we try to initiate with our seat, a circle, a leg yield, any other movement or maneuver, and we get nothing, and then we add leg. The leg says, give me more, right? The leg is a motivator. We're getting nothing, and then we say, give me more. We're saying, give me more of nothing, right? And so that's what we end up getting, just more resistance into whatever it is we're asking for the horse to do. Now, can we bang on their guts? Can we poke them with spurs? Can we shove them across that way? Yeah, absolutely. But is that really going to help our horse to relax through the process in the first place? No, absolutely not. In fact, in the long run, it's just going to cause him either to get more anxious or to just kind of bottle up the anxiety that he has, and then guaranteed at some time or another, in some fashion or another, that anxiety is going to come out again, and it's going to kind of bite us in the butt if we don't take care of it in the first place. So again, we want to make sure that we're using our seat effectively, and then if we've got a leg against our horse, rather than pushing and shoving, wait. You've heard me say this in videos plenty of times. Wait with your leg touching your horse. If you're touching with an ounce, don't move more than an ounce. Sit there with that ounce until the horse starts to soften into it. Might that mean you're sitting up there for 5 or 10 minutes? Probably not, but we'd be committed to that. If that's what the horse needed to understand to come off of that leg, so be it. We're going to wait there until the softness comes through. You cannot get a horse soft to your leg by being heavy with your leg. That's something we need to keep in mind. You can't force relaxation, okay? Although we see a lot of riders try to do that. And again, that's just going to end up in anxiety, either expended anxiety or bottled up anxiety that's going to come out later. So we want to keep in mind those kind of three key roles of the seat, the leg, and the rein there. The seat initiates whatever it is we're asking for. The leg motivates, adds energy, says, give me more. And the rein validates to help the horse be sure along the path that he's on. Kind of like a dancer's arms, the lead in the dance, right? They're there to help validate, all right? So if we're asking through our seat and we're getting nothing, we're not going to keep banging with our legs, because the banging of the legs are going to say, give me more of nothing. All right. We want to make sure that we can educate the horse through relaxation to begin with. And this might mean we have to slow down. We have to take a step back and help the horse to learn that they can soften and relax through the rider's seat and leg and reins before we move on. Okay? So for Frank and for anybody else out there with the problem of sticky ribs or troublesome circles like this, lots and lots of leg yields. I joke to my students all the time that if you've got 30 minutes to ride and you don't ride 57 leg yields, you were probably just being lazy. Now, of course, I'm exaggerating there, but that's how often we would leg yield a horse. Now, I'm not talking big, flashy, super extensions, things like that, crossing in the leg yields. I'm talking very basic spine suppling, mind suppling leg yields, okay? It might be one step of a leg yield and then carry on 3 or 4 steps forward, and then one baby step of a leg yield, and we're talking about yielding so that the spine and the mind become more soft, more supple, more pliable. So I hope that that's helpful to anybody out there who might have a horse with some stickiness through the ribs or some stiffness in their circles. If this has been helpful to you at all, please give us a like, give us a share, and maybe leave some comments in the comment section below. Let us know how this has helped you. Question of the day. Since we're talking about stickiness or stiffness, what happens in your riding? Where does stickiness or stiffness show up primarily in your horse while you're riding? Let me know in the comments section below this video. I'm looking forward to hearing your answers. And don't forget, gang, you keep sending in your questions, and I'll keep talking about horses. Thanks again.